the 7 weight loss mistakes that are actually self-sabotage. Like specifically women over 40 do these daily. You cannot get long-lasting, forever results with just surface level tactics of eat less, move more, here's your macros, here's some workouts. And the reason I've been able to help thousands of women over the last 15 years is because all I care about is dieting from the inside out and taking a root cause approach to this. Why do you think most people spend their entire lives gaining and losing the same 30 pounds and they never make it? It's because what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new episode of Dieting from the Inside Out. If you're new around here, welcome to the show. My name is Jared Hamilton and I'm your host. And in today's episode, we are talking about the 7 weight loss mistakes that are actually self-sabotage. Like specifically women over 40 do these daily, specifically. Like that's who I'm talking to. Now, let's address the elephant in the room real quick. If you are watching this on any of the video platforms like YouTube or what have you, it looks like I have a Harry Potter scar on my forehead. The reason is I literally did a jujitsu class and then I came home and am recording now. And I did not realize I have now a Harry Potter looking mark down the middle of my forehead. I was driving home and I went, why does my forehead hurt? Like it feels real tender and sensitive. And apparently I got some like hella rug burn or an elbow or something. So, but you know what? We're going to rock it and just keep this thing going. So I just wanted to address the elephant in the room. Now, let's talk though about these 7 mistakes though that are actually self-sabotage. Now, before we dive in too much, let's talk about self-sabotage for a second. One of the biggest reasons when someone joins my program is it's because of self-sabotage. Like there are a lot of reasons someone would join the program because we fix several of these deeper issues, but self-sabotage is one of them. Like if I had to give like the top 3 reasons why someone goes, Jared, I want your help. It's usually, at least at the time of recording this, food noise, a level of overeating, and self-sabotage. Because at the end of the day, everyone wants to lose weight, keep it off, feel amazing in their clothes and all that stuff. But specifically what stops most people is food noise, some semblance of overeating or binge eating, and this concept of self-sabotage. Like even if you don't struggle with food noise or overeating or binge eating, you probably go, yeah, but I sabotage. Literally, I do well, and then something always happens, or somehow I end up drifting back to where I started and I have no idea what happened. So self-sabotage, though, what we have to understand, I'm going to read this right off my notes, is you have to remember self-sabotage is always a reflection of your current identity, beliefs, and patterns. As in, self-sabotage is never random, even if it feels like it. What I mean by this is when I say self-sabotage is a reflection of your current identity, beliefs, and patterns, I want to break those 3 down really quickly. Then we'll get into all the 7 mistakes that are actually self-sabotage. What I mean by your current identity and beliefs go hand in hand because your identity is essentially your belief about yourself versus beliefs in general, but I'll break that up here in a second. Because when I say it's a reflection of your current identity is because what do you think you sabotage to? Right? Self-sabotage is like this thing that comes in and causes you to unconsciously unravel all the progress you've made and derail it. But it's think of self-sabotage and like you're right, the relationship with your identity. Like identity is your own personal autopilot, right? It's the setting at which things are going, right? Like when a plane gets to cruising altitude, they set the autopilot so the plane just steers itself to what the setting is at. So if your identity is not good enough, your identity is a binger, your identity is a fat person, your identity is we just aren't these kind of people like my mom taught us, or whatever the thing is for you, that's why you default to that. If your identity is made up of things that you don't like about yourself, that you struggle with, you'll always sabotage to them. It's why bingers always find a way to binge eat. It's why a procrastinator always finds ways to put things off. It's why an emotional eater always finds ways to stress eat. It's why someone who has a victim mentality, they're like, oh, I'm always the bad guy, or oh, it's poor me. They always find reasons to validate that. So your self-sabotaging is a reflection of the actual beliefs you have about yourself, right? If you feel like you're not good enough or not worthy of happiness, you unconsciously find yourself back there and acting in congruence with someone who's not worthy and not deserving of happiness. It's the same thing. Now, it also mirrors your beliefs. As in, I want you to think of it this way. The placebo effect, like in medicine, is an actual effect based on a person's beliefs. Like there are so many studies and double-blind placebo studies, the whole work showing how much the placebo effect actually works. As in, like this test group got sugar pills and they thought it was actual medicine, and the problem went away. Or I remember one of the first times I was looking into the placebo effect, it was actually injecting testosterone, like steroids. And they had the one test group actually got the actual steroid of testosterone. And so, of course, they inject it and then they do their blood work and their testosterone goes through the roof. But the test group who got like basically saline shots, which does nothing, all of their testosterone blood markers went up as well because they believed they were getting steroids. There's so many things that show this. It's crazy. But this is why it's almost like you become your own self-fulfilling prophecy across the board with this stuff, because your beliefs influence everything else. Your nervous system, your results, your actions, your subconscious patterns always reflect what your beliefs are. As in, if you believe you're too old, you believe you're too far gone, you don't have what it takes, something always happens, this is too good to be true, whatever that belief is, it's no wonder you sabotage to the exact thing. If you look at your own life, I bet you'll go, oh, wow, I do it there, I do it there, I do it there, I do it there. Because this also transcends fat loss. This goes into money, relationships, literally everything. Okay. And then the final part is your self-sabotage is a reflection of your patterns. What I mean by that is what always happens. One of the biggest things that I teach the ladies inside Dieting from the Inside Out, my coaching program, is that it's always pattern driven. I actually have a framework I use called the Stopping Sabotage Method. And one of the facets in this framework is we have to identify the top ways you self-sabotage. You can't just willpower through sabotage. You can't be blissfully ignorant and get on the other side of self-sabotage. It's too smart. It's completely pattern driven, and you live on autopilot 90% of the day. So you have to become consciously aware of your unconscious self. So we would go, like if you were in my program, I would go, cool, what are the top 5 ways you sabotage over the last 5 years? You have a common denominator, the top 5 ways, whether it be, I do really well until I step on the scale, then I spiral. Or I do really well and then I lose motivation around week 3.5, then I spiral. Or I do really well, but then I get bored and something feels monotonous and then I change things up, but then I change things up too much and overcorrect and end up falling off. Whatever it is for you, you do well until the weekend hits. You do well until the holidays or until you get busy. If you were to zoom out and go, what always happens? You would find patterns. One of the best skills a coach can have is pattern recognition. But the same thing goes for you in your own day-to-day, being aware of your patterns when you go, I'm doing it again. One of my favorite wins that our members and clients will share, and they'll be like, I literally caught myself in the middle of a pattern and went, I'm doing it again, because it gets you outside of the pattern. As soon as you're outside of the pattern as soon as you are aware of the pattern and go, that's it, I'm doing it again, you're outside of it. Now you can control it. But if you are just on autopilot and are oblivious to all of it, you can't escape a jail you don't know you're trapped in. So this is why self-sabotage is such a big thing. If you self-sabotage, please hear me when I say this. It's not because you're weak. It's not because you aren't disciplined enough. It's not because your plan isn't strict enough. To be honest, those are actually things that can cause more self-sabotage, because you should not be relying on maxing out your willpower and discipline. Look, the majority of the ladies that we work with in the program are high achieving, ambitious, successful, career driven, and have more things on their calendar than the average workhorse. So trust me, I know you can default really quickly to all or nothing, grind, go get it, willpower. I know you don't have a willpower problem. I know you don't have a discipline problem. To be honest, you probably lean on that side a little too much and go too hard, then you rebound. But understand, self-sabotage is not an effort thing. Self-sabotage is not any of that stuff. It's not a menopausal thing. It's literally comes down to a reflection of your identity, your beliefs, and your patterns, specifically your subconscious patterns. That's why we have to approach it differently. Until we fix those 3 things, you're never going to stop sabotaging. You probably won't ever get to where you want to be, because you are never going to supersede your results ahead of your identity, your beliefs, and your patterns. But unfortunately, no freaking coach talks about this stuff. Literally, if you're listening to this and you're working with a coach and they're not having deep conversation and teaching you specifics around how to shift your identity, how to change your beliefs, and how to rewrite your unconscious patterns, I'm sorry, but you're probably not going to make it, because you cannot get long-lasting, forever results with just surface level tactics of eat less, move more, here's your macros, here's some workouts. Don't get me wrong, those are great. That's a fine start. You need those things, but no house stands without a foundation, right? Where do you think your results are being held from? The foundation of who you believe you are, the beliefs you hold about not just yourself, but everything, the world, this journey, the whole works, and your patterns that run on their own that started when you were a child. Why do you think most people spend their entire lives gaining and losing the same 30 pounds and they never make it? It's because they're trying to fix things on the surface, but the root is corrupt. How can you, think about it. How can you have peaceful fat loss? You're like, yeah, I want peaceful fat loss where I don't have to think about food all the time. But on down here, your identity is I'm an all or nothing person, which means you having peace on the surface is a threat to all or nothing. So of course you're going to mess it up. Right? If you go, I want results so I can love the way I look, love the way I feel, and be confident in my clothes. But if your identity and beliefs are, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy of being happy, I don't deserve to love the way I look and feel. Well, you don't think you getting results is sabotaging that? Listen to me. Your mind and nervous system will gravitate to a familiar hell over an unfamiliar heaven. This is why these things are hard to change. Like I say it all the time, everyone wants to rewrite their patterns, change their mind, rewire the way their brain works, but like these things don't go down without a fight. But here's the reality. Because I understand how all this works, when I coach people inside my program, I would be irresponsible to just say, cool, here's fat loss without changing this stuff. This is why I always say we have to diet from the inside out, like the name of the show, we have to diet from the inside out first before we diet for real. Because if you do not fix these deeper things, you are never going to make it on the other side. This is why I literally talk to people every single day who literally are working with other coaches, but then asking me how about their numbers or how their plan looks or how to fix their relationship with food. Or I talk to people all the time who have been through the ringer of coaches and professionals and programs. I literally had two amazing ladies sign up for Dieting from the Inside Out today and join the program. And both of them have had a history of other coaches, other programs, trying everything under the sun, spending thousands of dollars on stuff that never got them where they wanted to be. And not a single thing they did before touched any of this deep stuff. This is literally what it takes. You would never buy a house without a foundation, but you're going into fat loss and a transformation without a foundation. It doesn't work either. This is why this is so important. Now, that was much longer winded than I wanted it to be. We're already 12 minutes in, but I want to get into these 7 things. But at the end of the day, if you don't understand what self-sabotage is, you'll just bypass all of these 7. So let's dive in no particular order, by the way. So we're going to go through these 7 weight loss mistakes that are actually self-sabotage, specifically for women over 40 that struggle with these daily. Okay, number 1, doing what used to work. Here's the thing. Don't get me wrong. The rules for fat loss have never changed, and they will never change in the future. But there are things that go on as you're getting older, like you're approaching menopause, you're going through all those changes, your lifestyle is different. The things that used to work don't work anymore, so we need to stop fighting for them. What I mean by that is in menopause, I'll put the best way I put it is you can't get away with what you used to get away with anymore. You used to get away with starving yourself. You used to get away with 0 sleep. You used to get away with cardio and training every day. You used to get away with exiling all your favorite foods from your life. That shit doesn't work anymore. Sorry. Your body's changed in such a way as you are getting older that you can't get away with those things anymore. Okay, whether it be physiological or psychological. The other thing is you are in a different place in life as you are 40 and above. Not even just physiologically, yes, that's a thing, but even aside from that, what I mean by that is most people that I talk to who are struggling with this, they are comparing their journey now to back when they were in college or even younger. But the reality is back then you didn't have kids. Now you're 3 or 4 kids deep. Back then you used to be a waitress running around 12-hour shifts and literally walking on campus. Whereas now you sit at a cubicle all day. You have a big kid job. You literally have so many more things where you are just sitting on a computer all day. So the things are different. Back then, you used to be broke, so you couldn't go out to eat as much. Now, you're financially successful, so you probably go out to eat a whole lot more. Back then, you didn't have as much of a social life. Now, you probably have a huge social life. You probably even coach your kids soccer and are living in drive-thrus because you have so much stuff going on. And then you're traveling, all these different things. Your life is different than it used to be. Your life is what you built it. Think about that. This is the life that you created. You got the job that you wanted. You have the hobbies and the social circles and the travel that you wanted. So we have to now align our actions, our plan, and our approach to that life. One of the ladies I was talking to today, who's a very successful individual, travels all the time, has so many things going on. And after she told me all the things that she tried, it hit me. I go, everything that you've mentioned, it wasn't built for a life like yours. You're busy. You have a lot of responsibilities. You're ambitious. You literally run multiple businesses. You coach your kids' soccer. You're on a plane like every month. Of course, these cookie cutter, cheap bullshit plans were never meant for a life like yours. So of course it's not going to fit. Just like a Harley was not built for a family of 5. Go get a minivan. It's the same thing. So one of the biggest ways that people self-sabotage is unknowing is doing what used to work. Well, I did Weight Watchers back then. Well, most people didn't keep their results even with Weight Watchers, but that's a different story. Or I used to work out every day. I used to drop down to 1,200 calories. I used to just cut carbs and be good. I'm sorry. Your life is totally different right now. Socially, career-wise, habitually, family, even physiologically. You may be in perimenopause. You may be in menopause. You may be on the other side of menopause. You may be 4 kids deep. Things have changed. So we need to let go what used to work. Okay? That's not the biggest. That's number 1. Okay? Mistake number 2 that's actually self-sabotage is believing everything you think and feel. I love you so much. I do not take it lightly that you're here, but you are more than likely way too quick to believe just thoughts that come into your head or emotions that come up. What I mean by that is, don't get me wrong, your thoughts and emotions are very important. Emotions, like I literally am the biggest person on emotional regulation and holding space for what you feel, but that doesn't mean you need to believe it. What I mean by that, if you step on the scale and you feel defeated and you go, oh my gosh, that's a bad number. You didn't like the number, or I should say your ego didn't like the number, and you're defeated, then you go, I'm fat. I'm too old. I'm too far gone. It's too late. Oh, my mom was right. You know what? I might as well give up. I messed up today. Your emotions are also liars when it comes to building a narrative. Listen to me when I say this. There's a subtle distinction here, and this is one of the biggest things I teach our ladies in Dieting from the Inside Out. It is emotions are meant to be felt. That is it. Do not feel something and then draw a narrative and a belief. It is one of the most sabotaging, detrimental things you can do. Because I've seen people, literally, we have thankfully and so fortunately been able to be a part of so many transformations. And I cannot tell you how many amazing, amazing women I have had hard conversations with who felt like they weren't making progress, and it was literally screaming at them in the face. I've literally seen women who have lost over 100 pounds. Over 100 pounds. Say, I feel like I'm not making progress. I feel like I'm still fat. But 3 digits are gone. Go pick up 100 pounds, anything. Like, think about that. I've seen people go from literally like 5 or 6 pant sizes down to, because of a scale weigh, and oh my gosh, I feel fat. Bloated. Oh my gosh, I feel fat. I don't see any progress. This is worthless. I'm a failure. Emotions don't mean anything. We are the ones that assign meanings to our emotions. I'm going to say that again. Emotions are meaningless. They are just messengers saying to look at a thing. They are meaningless until we assign them meaning, but do not assign them meaning. Go, oh, wow, I feel really disappointed. I'm just going to sit with disappointed. I feel anxious. That doesn't mean something's wrong. You just feel anxious. If you feel discouraged, let's say you step on the scale and the numbers starts with the wrong number, or it's a higher 3 pounds higher than it was yesterday, and you feel discouraged, just go, well, there's part of me that's triggered right now and upset. I'm just going to let myself be upset and discouraged. That doesn't mean anything's wrong. That doesn't mean I'm a failure. That doesn't mean whatever. Think of it this way. What would happen if the shitty boyfriend that your daughter dates all of a sudden dumped her, and she's like, oh my gosh, I'll never find love again? You're probably like, one, you're secretly glad that asshole dumped her because he was a piece of shit. But think of, like, she's feeling lonely, sad, discouraged, all the things, but then she draws the narrative. You're like, oh my gosh, life is over. I'm never going to make it. I'll never find love. He was the only one for me. And you're sitting there like, okay. You see it. You go, wow, she's feeling a lot of emotions, but none of that's true. In that moment, to her, it feels truer than ever. But you also know it's all bullshit. Yes, she's having a moment. She's feeling upset, but then she's building all these narratives. I'm going to be alone forever. I'm never going to make it. I'll never find love again. Come on. In a month, she's good. And it wasn't true. You do the same thing. Do not be so quick to believe what you think and feel. Just because you feel discouraged doesn't mean anything bad is happening. Literally, you can drink a little too much water and be 3 pounds up the next day. You can literally need to take a shit and your bowels be upset and you be 3, 4, 5 pounds up the next day. We cannot be so quick to tie narratives and beliefs to things. You walk past the wrong angle of a wrong mirror at a department store that's slightly warped and you go, oh my gosh, I'm such a fat cow. I'm such a piece of shit. Wow, all this work I've done is nothing. And you go down a fucking rabbit hole. That is the problem. Instead of just going, oh, you know what? I'm having a moment. I'm feeling one thing, but here's what truth is. You just go down that rabbit hole. Self-sabotage. Literally, just Google right now a before and after picture with different lighting. You'll see someone who is shredded to the gills, and then they get in a slightly different lighting, they look fat, or they look like they gained 15 pounds just from a lighting difference. I literally, something that would happen is when I don't keep up on my beard, whenever I shave or trim my beard, people go, oh man, Jared, how much weight have you lost? I go, 3 ounces of whatever my beard weighed. It's because my face doesn't look as full, because my beard is trimmed and I have a haircut. And I have people go, oh, dude, you look like you've lost 20 pounds. No, it's literally a beard trim and a haircut. But this is why we have to be careful believing everything we think and feel. Beliefs, I'm sorry, I got ahead of myself. Beliefs are meant to be held space for. We sit and process them. We don't build narratives. Mindsets and beliefs are what we should challenge. I feel too far gone. Based on what? According to whom? Oh, you know what? My mom was right. I'm never going to make it. I'm going to be fat forever. Well, hang on. According to what? Based on whom? What data do you have to support that? You need to challenge your beliefs like a courtroom. Because as soon as you start to question beliefs, they start to unravel. For a belief to thrive, it needs mass amounts of certainty. But the kryptonite to a belief, any belief, especially ones that don't serve you, is just doubt, is uncertainty. Question them. And you'll find that your ego likes to make these big, massive generalizations, but as soon as you question it, it falls apart. I'll prove it to you. You may have a belief of, I'm not good enough. I'm not a deserving person. I'm not good enough. Cool. Based on what? Give me criteria. Based on what and according to whom? Is that approval from your parents? So if your parents aren't approving of you, then you're not good enough, you're not worthy? Okay, so if someone has shitty parents and they approve of them, that means they're worthy of happiness. Well, you have to make a certain amount of money. So if you make I make $250,000 a year, you're worthy. So if you make $223,000, you're not worthy. At what point do you step from unworthy to worthy? What's the moment you cross over? What makes you instantly, what takes you from worthy as fuck to unworthy? What's the moment it happens? Because you notice as I ask these questions, your ego gets really uncomfortable. That voice that says, oh, you're not good enough, you're not worthy, it doesn't have answers to all that. What evidence do you have to show that you're unworthy? Cool. What evidence do you have to show that you are worthy? You see what I mean? The reason I'm kind of going down this rabbit hole is because we have to question these beliefs. But this is why number 2 is one of the big mistakes that's actually self-sabotage is believing everything you think and feel. Feelings are fleeting, all of them, the good and the bad ones. You literally can hop on your period and look bloated and be bloated and all of a sudden go, oh my gosh, I haven't made any progress. When in reality, you have all the data to show that you are making progress. So this is why you cannot be so quick to believe everything you think and feel. Imagine, here, I'll leave you on this one with number 2. Imagine your toddler, or if you had a toddler, everything they said and thought, you had to make true. So when they go, Mom, you're stupid, you have to go, okay, Mommy is stupid, you're right. We'll set it in stone. Or if he goes, Mommy, she hit me, and you just saw the daughter never hit the son, but you go, you know what? He said it, you must have hit him, you're in trouble. Mommy, I don't want to go to school. Okay, you don't have to go to school. Your life as a whole would be chaos, would literally be like wild. You would never do that. But why do you correct your toddler? Because they're wrong and they need corrected. So when your inner child or your ego starts throwing out beliefs that are like, oh, here's what you feel, this is what it means, you just believe it. You need to correct it and check it just like your child. Again, we hold space for feelings. Your feelings, you feel things, you need to just process them. But that doesn't mean to assume they're true around whatever the narrative that's trying to come up for you. Okay? Hope this is helping. Number 3, Number three mistake, or the third mistake the third weight loss mistake that is actually self-sabotage is keeping the old identity and belief about yourself. What I mean by this is kind of piggybacks very well off the last point, is you cannot have new results with an old identity and belief system. I kind of alluded to this one, so we'll kind of go through it pretty quickly. What I mean by that, you want to quit binge eating? You can't have the identity of a binger. The identity of a binger will kill progress of binge eating. You cannot have the identity of I'm a dieter. I've been dieting my whole life, and then expect to lose all your weight and then not sabotage it to go back to dieting because that's what feels safest. I put it with the ladies that we work with in the program. I word it this way: don't think about what do I do to get this thing. And instead of saying how do I lose 30 pounds, the question is who do I have to become who loses 30 pounds? There's a difference. How do I lose 30 pounds? Well, there's a lot of dumb ways you can lose 30 pounds. But also, if you keep the same shitty identity that got you where you're at right now, and you just lose 30 pounds, the old identity will sabotage it. This is why as soon as you start making progress, you sabotage. You start making progress and you go, oh, I'm an all or nothing person. Oh, well, you also said you want peaceful fat loss that sticks around forever, but then you're an all or nothing person, so of course it's going to drag it back down. You see what I mean? So this is why if you want new results that last forever, you have to have a new identity and new beliefs. You cannot keep the old ones. I cannot tell you how many people will say, well, Jared, I'm just an all or nothing person. And my reply is, I know, that's the problem. That's why you are 30 pounds overweight. Well, I'm just an all in or all out person. I'm a perfectionist. I'm aware. That's why you're incarcerated by food. Well, I'm just the kind of person that once I start, I can't stop. I know. That's why you binge eat every other day and can't lose your weight. Too often we're validating, well, this is just who I am. This is who I've always been. I go, but you used to wear size 3 shoes when you were a child, but you don't wear them now because your feet have grown. They don't fit. I love you, but your identity, old identity, doesn't fit anymore. If you want new results, if you want to transform your life, you have to let go of the old. You cannot leave this room and go into the next room. You cannot stay in this room and simultaneously go into the next room. You have to leave one room to go into the other. So the biggest mistake, I keep saying the biggest, one of the biggest mistakes that is truly sabotage, hiding in plain sight, is keeping the old identity and validating it. Well, I've always been this way. Well, I'm just too far gone. Well, my mom always told me this. Well, I'm a binger. I've always binged. I'm just an emotional eater. I'm the kind of person that always need my routine changed to keep motivated. Okay, well, why don't you do that with brushing your teeth? Right? We can find holes in all this stuff. But one of the biggest mistakes is keeping the old identity and beliefs around yourself. Because again, like we talked about in the very beginning, your self-sabotaging is a reflection of your identity and your beliefs. So if you want to become someone who loses the 30 pounds, keeps it off, becomes free around food, you have to change who you are. One of my favorite quotes is by Dr. Joe Dispenza. He says, to change your personal reality, you have to change your personality. You cannot stay this version of you and become a new person. It doesn't work like that. Okay. Moving on. Mistake number 4 that is actually self-sabotage is being reactive to life, stress, busyness, inconvenience, etc. Here's the reality. I hate to break it to you. You built the life that you have on purpose. You are also, because again, we're talking about like specifically weight loss mistakes that are actually self-sabotage for women over 40. As in, you are probably the busiest you're ever going to be right now. You're going to stay busy for a long time. This is why one of the biggest mistakes people make is being reactive to life. Well, I'll start something and take this seriously when life slows down. My kid got sick. I'll get back on track later. Oh, you know what? We're going into like the Christmas season. I'm gonna wait until life slows down. Oh, this was a bad week. You know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna start over Monday. You're a grown-ass adult. Your life is never going to slow down for probably at least another 40 years. It's just how it works. But here's the cool part. You built this life. You built the life this way that you probably wouldn't trade it for the world. You had the kids that you love dearly. You may even have grandkids that you're like, oh my gosh, I love having them. I watch them so much. You're probably volunteering for stuff like coaching your kids soccer or taking your kids to dance. You probably have the career you've always wanted. All of these different things. You travel. You have so much going on. So if you're reactive to life, to the very life you built, you are never going to make it. Ironically, let's look at the other things in your life you value. You're never too busy for. You're never too reactive to do. You just have great routines around them. whatever your hobbies are, travel, work, vacation, brushing your teeth, your kids' stuff, your dog stuff, whatever hobbies mean the most to you, whatever your things you do. But this is no different, because here's the reality. If you are always being reactive to life, especially busyness or feeling ready or convenience, your life never is any of those, never chills out. And because here's the other thing to think about. If you're willing to wait and be reactive to life, let's say waiting until life slows down to get your shit together, you're basically committing on the other side. Let's say it does slow down, you get your act together and you start to do the stuff. You're also saying the next time it gets busy, you're going to fall off. You can't have one without the other. But it comes down to, I would ask you, what kind of person are you? Are you the kind of person who's reactive to life and who's not in charge of their life? Or are you the kind of person that is in charge of their life and is not a victim to their life? Because you can't say, no, that's not who I am. But then also at every drop of a hat, oh, I'm going to start over Monday. Oh, I'm going to wait till life goes down. I'm going to wait till I can give this 100% of my mental bandwidth. You're an adult. You're not ever going to have 100% of your mental bandwidth because you have responsibilities. This is why it comes down to, again, a reflection of your identity. What kind of person are you? You see what I'm getting at? The other piece to this is, do you want to be able to have results in all seasons is the question. If the answer is yes, then we have to get experience in the shitty ones, in the busy ones, in the chaotic ones, in the inconvenient ones. How would you feel about this? How would you feel about stepping on a plane with a pilot that has never flown in the storm? Probably give you some nerves. But what about a pilot who is literally like flown in war? Your United Airlines flight is going to be cake, right? Because of all he's been through in his experience. Well, it's no different. You go, oh, I'm glad I'm in safe hands because he's been through the storm. Well, yeah, because he has the experience there. Do you only want to be able to keep your results in life as cool, calm, and collective? Run the numbers. How much of your week, percentage-wise, is cool, calm, collected, predictable, easy, chill, and all the things? What percentage is it? 10, 20, 0? It's sure as hell not the majority. So if your average week or month is, let's be conservative. Let's say 50%. Let's say half of your month is chill, cool, calm, collected, but the other half is busy, unpredictable, and stuff comes up. And you are believing like, no, I need to be where I can give 100% of my mental bandwidth. I need to wait till life slows down. You're going to be on half the time. Guess what? How do you get results if you're on half the time and off half the time? There's no consistency there. I'm not saying you have to be perfect. I'm not saying you have to be all or nothing, but we need at least a level of consistency. So this is why number 4 is way of sabotaging. It's one of the big mistakes, but it is secretly sabotage, is just being reactive to life. The clients of ours that have had the most jaw-dropping results and kept those results forever are the ones who literally show up every single day. Not perfect, just consistent, but they don't falter and fall and relent when life does what life does. They actually lean in harder. They go, you know what? I'm going to do my best. I'm going to show up no matter what because this is who I am now. It comes down to your identity, okay? Number 5, we're almost done, home stretch. Sorry, I was looking at my clock. Number 5, mistake number 5 that's secretly sabotage is running off vibes and not facts or data. What I mean by that is it goes back to the feelings thing. Especially over the age of 40, you are going to have more variables that are going to dictate what progress looks like. As in, you're going to have bigger fluctuations. You're going to have, let's say, whether it be a scale fluctuation or bloating or the way your body looks on the day-to-day by just the way it moves and changes and all these things. Again, not from a fat loss or fat storage perspective, on just the way your body does what it does, especially as you are going into your 40s and 50s plus. Which means we have to look at facts and data, not vibes, and if you feel like it. I cannot tell you how many people that said, Jared, I feel fat. I feel like it's not in the cards for me to lose weight. I feel like I'm regressing. I feel like I'm not making progress. But when we look at facts and data, the scale is trending down, inches are dropped, or pictures are like, who the fuck is that now? Because you have to understand, you are also, here's the other piece. The older you get, 40s, 50s plus, you have more responsibilities than ever, which means you are distracted. Understand this, your conscious mind, from the data that I was looking at the other day, your conscious versus subconscious mind. Your conscious mind can only process like 40 to 50 bits of information per second. Your subconscious mind can process like 11 million of bits of information per second. But if you think about your day-to-day, those 40 to 50 bits of information per second go that quick. As soon as you wake up, how many things are you thinking about? You're checking your phone. You're looking at everything on the phone. You're getting dressed. You're getting coffee. You're getting the kids off to school. You're doing all, well, there you go. There's 10 right there. You've only got like 40-ish, 50 maybe on the high side. So of course you're not going to see all of your progress. I don't know if we'll be able to put it on the screen or not on the YouTube. Like, I cannot tell you how many clients we've worked with who have literally had pictures if we're able to put them on the screen, I'll put them on the screen right here. But these clients that literally their pictures look like they're like 30 pounds different between photos for the before and after, but say things like, I feel like I'm not making progress. I don't think it's in the cards for me to lose weight because of something like the scale is high or whatever the case may be, when in reality, like, these pictures are night and day different. So you have to understand, we have to look at facts and data, not just, oh, I feel like it. I cannot tell you how many people have said, well, Jared, I can just tell if I'm losing weight. No, you can't. That's not how your brain is not wired that way. You literally have this thing in your brain called the reticular activating system that is your filter on life to show your brain what is most important, because there's so many variables and facets that you would go psychotic if you had access to everything. So your brain picks out what's important to you. That 40, 50 bits of information per second, conscious, subconscious thing. I'll give you an example. It's the part of your brain that when you get a new car, you see it everywhere. You could be in a football stand. You could be in the football stands and hear kids screaming, but you hear your kids specifically go, Mom. That's why after a scary movie, your house creaks way more than normal. It's not that any of that stuff is new or old. It's the fact that it's in your awareness more because of the way your brain is programmed. So if you have beliefs, goes back to beliefs and patterns and identities. If you have beliefs that are going to infiltrate and influence your reticular activating system, as in, if you feel too old, too far gone, I don't know if I have what it takes, this probably isn't going to work, your brain's going to find evidence to support that. It's like you buy the new orange van, you see orange vans everywhere. You get rid of the old van and buy a blue truck, and now you see the blue truck everywhere. It's not that there was more or less on the road. It was that one is more in your awareness. So most people only have in their awareness all the limitations. I'm a binger. I'm an all or nothing person. This has never worked for me. Your brain, for context, also is constantly on threat alert. Your brain is wired for self-preservation, so it is always on threat detection mode. So it's always going to see the negative over the positive unless you have it really dialed in and programmed. So this is why your brain is going to see naturally all the ways you aren't making progress and hide the ways you are making progress. Quite literally, I cannot tell you how many clients have sent me their before and after pictures, their next set, and said things like, I don't think it's in the cards for me to lose weight. And there is a night and day difference of these individuals. Like, one, their stomach sticks way out in front of their boobs. The other is their stomach is on the inside of their boobs. One has 0 abs, one has abs. One has a double chin, one has a jawline. Like, I'm talking about drastic differences. It's because your brain is a wild thing. And we have to look at facts and data, not running decision-making off vibes and if I feel like I'm making progress. I really hope this is helping and making sense. Number 6, mistake number 6 that is secretly sabotage is ignoring progress right in front of you or not accepting it or dismissing it. It kind of goes, again, these are kind of piggybacking off each other. Going back to that running off vibes and not facts. I've literally had clients lose over 100 pounds and not see it. I've literally had clients have the most drastic transformations and not see it. It's because of that same thing I just mentioned about the way your brain is programmed. And one of the biggest pieces of self-sabotage is not seeing the progress in front of you. Because here's the other thing. If you have all this progress in front of you and you deny it or dismiss it, right? Like, let's say your clothes are fitting better, but you go, yeah, but the scale hasn't moved. You denied it. Or if you go, let's say people are complimenting you, like your hairdresser's like, oh, how much weight have you lost? You're like, I haven't lost any weight, even though you've lost like 3 inches, or you are making progress, but you denied it. Or you're like, well, my hairdresser, like I pay her, so she's got to say stuff like that. Like, you start to talk yourself out of it. But what does a child do if every time it brings you something, like, Mommy, I made this for you, you go, your sister's is better. Wow, you colored outside the lines. You suck. They're going to quit bringing you shit. So every time you dismiss your progress, you are denying it, and you're programming your brain that say, hey guys, she doesn't want to see progress. You quit showing it to her. Because if you'll deny small progress, you'll deny huge progress, because that's how huge progress is made. Let me show you an example. If you're watching the video, I'm holding up a book right now. So a book is made up of hundreds of pages. Like this book I just picked up the book doesn't matter, is over 400 pages. Okay. Let's say this book is what is the transformation. If you go, Jared, I want this entire transformation, we'll equate it to this book. You want, cool, here's the book. This book is made up of over 400 pages. So your transformation is made up of 400 micro wins. But let's say I open this book and I turn the page. Look at how much I have left in this book. Let's say I open up let's say 30 pages in. And I flip the page just one page. Does it look any different? No. One more page. Does it look like I made more progress on the book? No. One more page. No. One more page. Let me do a whole bunch. Let me turn the page 100 pages. Does it look like I've made any differences here? Not really. If you look, maybe, not looking at what I've done, but look what's left. The reality is, as you go through a book, each page is so small, it doesn't seem like you are making any difference in the book until you get to the end. And then you're like, or until you look at wow, I'm 300 pages in on this thing or whatever. Your transformation is the same way. But if you keep dismissing and denying it, oh, it doesn't count. Well, I still have more weight to lose. And you keep dismissing all these little micro wins, you're never going to see the big wins. It's because you denied it the entire way there. That's just how the brain works. Because if you deny a little progress, you'll deny it at any point in time. Because you look the exact same today as you did yesterday and the day before and the day before. But if you're consistent for a year, you look like a completely different human. Well, it's because you don't see everything the way the body works and the mind works. So this is why one of the biggest ways people self-sabotage is you ignore the progress that's in front of you because your ego's in charge. Because you dismiss small progress as not progress. Or if it's not on the scale, it doesn't matter. Or you I guess I feel better around food, but I look the same, even though you're not looking even hard enough. This is why we have to change how we perceive these things. Okay. And lastly, number 7, the big one. I'll just go out and say the big one. One of the biggest mistakes in weight loss that women over 40 make, that is just self-sabotage, hiding in plain sight, is not addressing the root cause of their struggles. So many people, the majority of people, are dabbling in surface level land. You cannot have a deep solution by taking surface level answers to it. What I mean by that is, if you're binge eating, you can't just willpower your way through that. If you're emotional eating, you can't just have a tighter plan. If you have food noise, you can't just willpower through that. All the things that are stopping you from getting to where you want to be are a root cause issue that is found in what I call your inner game, the way you think, the way you operate, your old conditioning, your childhood stuff, all of these things, your neural pathways, your beliefs, your identity, all these things. But it's not sexy. It's not exciting. It's harder to quantify. So your ego doesn't do it. It's yeah, I'll get to that later. I want to lose weight now. Imagine a home builder did that. Yeah, I get the whole foundation thing, but we got to get these walls up because we got to get this homeowner moved in. But then your house would crumble. So is it even worth it? So one of the biggest mistakes is my whole methodology, my whole philosophy, the way I coach and what I teach in dieting from the inside out is not addressing the root cause of your struggles. Get to the root cause of it. If you actually want results that will not just come to you, but that will stay forever. I know you're tired of gaining and losing the same weight over and over again. I know you're tired of living a life where you're I promised myself I wouldn't be here 5 years ago, 10 years ago. I know you're tired of the mental food noise. I know you're tired of the overeating. I know you're tired of literally having the same 3 things in your closet, the same 3 oversized black or dark outfits that you just recycle over and over again because you can't stand to wear anything else in there because it feels so uncomfortable. I get it. I've been there. I know I'm a dude, but I've been there myself, and I've helped thousands of women that have been there. I get it. I started my journey at 11 when I got a Weight Watchers book given to me. That's when my food noise started. I'm telling you, I have been exactly where you're at. And the key to unlocking all of it, and the reason I've been able to help thousands of women over the last 15 years is because all I care about is dieting from the inside out and taking a root cause approach to this. We have to go deep to the actual source of where your obstacles stem from. And that's where the solution is made. That's where you have life-altering progress. This is when you see the success stories or hear the interviews on the podcast where you're like, wow, I wish I could do that. I wish I could be like that. Well, the reality is you can. Your ego's convincing you that you can't. But that's how we do that, is you have to get to the root cause of it. This is with anything, though. Everything comes down to what's the foundation? Where did this stem from? The issue is most people don't know what the root cause is. Or even if they do, they're like, yeah, I know I can't be consistent because I have food noise and that makes me overeat. Well, cool. And then do you know how to stop all 7 reasons for food noise? Well, if we don't, then that's the problem. And then ironically, this is also the very thing that all this stuff, to be honest, is exactly to a T what I fix in my program, Dieting from the Inside Out. If this is something that you're serious about wanting to fix and wanting to change and are ready to like, you know what, I'm ready to commit to myself. I am ready to show up and fix these things at the root cause. I want you to shoot me a message on Instagram. Just go to Instagram at @RealJaredHamilton and message me the word ready. READY. Just message me the word ready. I'll know you came from this podcast episode. And then all I'll do is I'll ask you a few questions, just like 3-4 questions to see if this is even remotely the right fit. And if it is, we'll set up a call. That way you and I can talk. And I can learn more about you and what's going on to see if, in fact, dieting from the inside out will be able to fix all your problems. Because I have my golden rules. If I don't think I can completely change your life, like I won't take your money. That's just my little thing. So but that's it. That is mistake number 7. That is hiding in plain sight of self-sabotage, is not addressing the root cause and dabbling in the land of surface level. That's why all the cheap, quick fixes don't work for you. So I hope this was helpful. I hope this made a difference. I hope this made you go, I've never heard it that way before. And that way you can start to change your actions and everything. Otherwise, I love you. Thank you so much for being here. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll talk to you next week.